Okay guys, so I finally decided if I didn't just go head on and do this, I'm never gonna do it, because you know what? I could not find a recipe anywhere. Now, if you are out there, expert canner, and you come up with a recipe for all of this, let me show you what I got here. Look at this. I have bags and bags of dried cherries, and I have dried plums, pitted prunes, and I have dried pitted plums. And these are dried plums too, plums and prunes. I never knew they were basically the same. Okay, so I want to make a jelly or jam. I think it's going to be more or less a jam because of the thickness of what's going on here. But I couldn't find a recipe anywhere on the internet, and I looked through so many books and I came across some recipes, you know, like plum preserve. I came across different recipes for cherries and plums, but I didn't come across any recipe for dried cherries. Now, I wouldn't normally have all of these. These are Montmorency dried cherries, and I've accumulated these guys just like I accumulate everything else. Friend, whenever she gets them, she brings them to me. She has an abundance of them, so she brings them to me. And I've never been able to figure out what I was going to do with them, except, you know, put them in maybe a smoothie, or let me bring you up a little bit more to me. So let's see if I can move this. Put them in a smoothie, or if I was going to maybe, you know, use them, cook them in bread or something. I don't know. But I've seen several different recipes for cherries and plums and strawberries and pineapples and all of that, different recipes, and I think a lot of it is your own recipe too, and depending on what you're working with. If I could have found a recipe for this, I would be using that recipe. Since I was not able to find a recipe for it, I'm gonna have to make up one. So I'm gonna do a little tried and true. By that I mean I'm gonna take a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and you guys know that it seems that's the way I cook. I kind of go off of instinct. So a lot of people say, Granny, give me a recipe for this, give me a recipe for that. And that's why I film it, so that you can get the recipe, because I can't tell you the measurements. I go by touch and feel. So that's what I'm going to do with this recipe. Now, I did open one. I wanted to see, I had to see what it tastes like, right? I had to know. I'm sorry, I'm shaking you guys up there on that. I had to see what it tastes like, right? And they're delicious. They are tart, but yet they're sweet and just so delicious. They're really good. And I think that these are going to make an absolutely fabulous jam. So, oh, they're good. So what I feel that I have to do in some sort of capacity is I've got to try to hydrate them. So what I'm going to use, I noticed that some folks use alcohol. I'm going to use some unsweetened apple juice. And I'm going to work on rehydrating them. I have 5 bags, 2-pound bags each. So I'm going to put these in my pot and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. As I go along, I am going to tell you what I'm using. I'm going to tell you the amounts that I'm using. So perhaps if you have some dehydrated or dried, dried cherries or plums, you will be able to, follow this recipe. So, okay, so we're gonna get started. So what I have here is, I have right now 1 cup of the apple juice that I told you about. And this is the apple juice that I'm using. It's an organic Honeycrisp, 100%. My grandbaby loves Honeycrisp apples. So that's the apple juice that I'm using. I may have to add a little bit more to it. I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait and see once I get the cherries in the pot and the sugar. I'm going to see if I need to add any more. So I also have here 6 cups of sugar, because these are pretty sweet. They're sweet already. Well, to me they're kind of sweet. They're tart, but they're sweet. And I have some lemon juice, and the lemon juice I'm going to use to replace the pectin. That's what this is used for. It helps replace the pectin. And I do have pectin, but I'm gonna hold on to it because I think I told you guys when I showed you my pantry, my daughter had to go to 3 stores in 3 different towns to get that pectin. So I'm gonna hold on to it and use it for something that, I have to have it for. And from the recipes that I've seen, you can, if you use lemon juice, you can, substitute the lemon juice for the pectin. So let's go over to the stove. I've got my my cans sterilizing on the stove. I have 1/2 pint jars. I don't know how much this is going to produce, but I have a feeling it's going to, cook down quite a bit. I have a feeling. So I'm just going to do the cherries. I'm not going to mix them up. I'm going to do the cherries, and then I'm going to do the prunes and all of that at a later date. So let's go over to the stove right here, guys, and let me get you straight here. Okay, so you can see you can see this really good. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this on. And my back eye, back here I have my lids, and in here I have my jars that I'm sterilizing. So I'm gonna start out with 1 cup of the apple juice, and we'll see if I need to add another one. I'm going to add, this is 1 bag, which is 2 pounds of the prunes, of the cherries. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. So I'm making jam because this is, it's a little bit thicker. And since these are already dried, I figured that would be best. Now it looks like, right from the beginning, my pot may not be big enough. But that's okay, because I can do a couple of, I don't have to do it all at one time. I'll put half I did 6 cups of sugar because I figured 2 to 1 almost. I've got 10 pounds of cherries, so I would do 6 cups of sugar, almost like a 2 to 1 ratio, instead of 5 pounds, you know, for the half. You guys get it. Well, anyway, that was 2, 4, and this is 6. So that's what I'm going to start out with, because we'll see how this goes. Because I still got to add, don't forget, I've still got to add the sugar in here. And you know what? I think I'm gonna need a bigger pot. Well, I'm gonna work with this one. I'm gonna work with this. I'm gonna work with this. So I'll do half of the portion. So we're gonna start out with this, and I'm basically trying to kind of rehydrate them now. You can see how they're kind of prunish, raisiny. So I just wanted to add a little moisture to rehydrate them. I'm going to turn those lids down back there. And let me turn this. This is the bathroom, and it's had the exhaust going. So I turned it down so that you guys can kind of hear me. I did have the air conditioning on too, but I noticed that along with, you know, the cooler and the air conditioning, there's a lot of noise in the background. So it gets pretty hot in here though. So, but if I have to turn the air conditioner on, you guys will forgive me. I can see that these are kind of hydrating up. They're plumping up. These are plumping up. So I'm going to put half of this sugar in here. Half of it. Or thereabouts. I know it calls for a lot, but if you, even in the ball, USDA and the ball book of canning and all of that, you need a lot of sugar. You need a lot of sugar. Now, I don't want these to be, I'm going to turn it down a little bit for right now, because I just want to get this mixture going and see what I have. Water can them. And we got to get it going. Let's see this. Oh, I see some juice down there. A little bit, not a lot. A little bit, not a lot. You guys are coming along with me on this like you're coming along with me on just about everything. So we're going to let's take this and just start mashing. I had to hydrate them. Yes. Oh, I'm getting juice. There. Look, can you see it, guys? Can you see the juice? Let me get a... Oh, do I have a spoon in here I can show it to you guys with? I think I have a spoon over here in the sink. Oh, look at the juice. Yes. Okay. See? Can you see that? Okay, we're going to work with this, okay? Oops. Oops. So if you have any dried cherries or dried prunes, you know, and you really don't know what to do with them, like me, just like lemons, you make lemonade, I'm gonna make some jam. Oh, it smells wonderful. Smells wonderful. Oh man, I always like, and preserves or jams, when you get that little burst of the fruit, you know, and you spread it on your bread or whatever it is that you're eating it with, man, that's always good. Actually, what I'm going to do is add a little more apple juice. That's what we're going to do, because let's put it in. I think I got almost another cup, because I want to bring it to a boil and get to stirring. So we got to cook it. We're going to cook it a little bit. It ain't going to hurt it. I'm tasting it, and it is tart. It is tart. Let's add some more sugar to it. So now I had 6 cups of sugar in there. So I don't think I had added maybe 3 or so. I'm not sure. But now we're going to cook it. We're going to cook it. And as we're cooking it, we're going to keep stirring it. But I'm gonna bring it to a boil right now. It's not up to a boil, but I will bring it to a boil, and I will cook it for about 20 minutes on that boil. 20 minutes. So let's bring it up and heat a little bit more. Okay, so I already added 2 cups of apple juice. Let's add one more. Let's add one more. It's not quite a cup, and the other one wasn't quite a cup, but I want to bring this up to a really nice boil, because I want it to cook. So we're going to get it, keep stirring it. And this, like I said, this is the first batch. When we do the next batch, I'm going to cut it down. I'm just going to get a knife and just chop them down a little bit so the pieces won't be as thick. That's all. Because I got some beautiful juice out of here, as you can see. And I gotta taste this. Let's see. Ooh, man, that'll be good in a pie. Ooh wee. Now let's put our lemon in here and bring it to a boil. I said I was going to do about 4 tablespoons. Let me. 2, 3. Getting ready to start boiling. Get to boiling. Yeah, I just added some more. I think about another cup. So that makes 4 cups. Half of this. So I'll let you know at the end. This is a total of 64 ounces, 2 quarts. So I probably used about a whole quart. And next time, I think, with me using the, cutting the cherries up, I'll use less. So they're dried and they're not going to just dissipate unless I just cook them for a long time. I could cook them for quite a while, or I could put them in water overnight and let them hydrate again from the dried. And that might be what I do, because I want to get a different contrast. I want to try, you know, to see what works. So I may take those and let them sit overnight. Oh, okay, this is starting to look a little bit better. The more it cooks, maybe letting them sit overnight, let them hydrate, and maybe, you know, cutting them down. I don't know. You're witnessing a authentic, very authentic jam, dried jam recipe. Do you like your jam thick? So I think that would have helped me out too. So I'm going to use a different spoon because I added the lemon juice and everything, and I just want to taste it, see what it tastes like. Let's get some of the juice, and it's boiling now, but I'm going to time it for about 20 minutes. Ooh, hot. Ooh, good. Ooh, it's got that tartness. Oh man, this is good. It's got that tartness to it. So I'm gonna keep stirring it, and I'll be back. Well, I'm just gonna keep stirring it for a few minutes while I want you to be able to see the boil. It's not really boiling if you can stir it out. I need to not be able to stir the boil out, okay? With these being dried, I don't have any juice from them. You know, if you did like apple or strawberry or pineapple, well, see, now it's okay. Let's set our timer. Now I'm just gonna keep stirring it because I don't want it to stick. You know what? I'm gonna put a lid on here, and I think that's gonna let it cook even better. Even though it's boiling at this point, I'm still gonna put this lid on it because this, it is good. See, I think that's going to help it a lot by just putting that lid on there. So, and the good thing about this pot and me standing right here, I'm going to be watching it. If I didn't tell you, you probably would not believe me. But look at this. Look, guys, they rehydrated and they plumped up while they were boiling. They plumped up. Oh my goodness. Now I wonder if I can get them down. Look at, they're soft now. I took the lid off and they had plumped up. Yes, they did. So that tells you something right there. I've got to hydrate these before, so I can sit them in some hot water or something before I start my process, because I've got to rehydrate it. Now it's starting to look amazing, guys. Did you see how high it was when I first took that lid off? Oh yes. man, is that interesting, huh? Oh, I wish my immersion blender was working. Okay guys, I had to regroup and do some additional things. So what I did do is I completed putting all the sugar in there. I know it's a lot of sugar, guys, but these are tart. They are tart, so they you know, they have a very kind of a little bit of a bitter taste to them already. And then I did go and I added more of the apple juice. Now probably could have done the same thing with, I'm doing this, got a rolling boil, as you can see, and I had to take it off of here because I didn't have any electrical near me. And what I did was I used an immersion blender. I did that. This is coming along really nicely now, so I'm just gonna do this while it's doing the rolling boil. This is going to be some good jelly, or jam actually, because I'm going to have to look back at the tape to get the recipe. I'm going to have to go back on the tape to get this recipe, but it looks good, right? And it does taste good too. Okay. Now comes the time when what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to start, let's turn it off, and we're going to get our jars and we're going to start jarring. Okay, I think you can see good enough, right guys? We're going to put that there. Start, that's hot. Start putting this in there. Oh, that's going to be good. Leave a 1/4 of an inch of space. Okay, 1/4 of an inch. Debubble it. See, it's right down at that line right there. Debubble it. Get some of that air out of it. And not put quite as much. Oh, this is going to be yummy. It's going to be good. Very untraditional recipe, but it's going to be good, and that's what counts. You know, don't always have to be the prettiest things out going. 1/4 of an inch head space. Debubble it. Don't forget your vinegar. Right here. Got my vinegar. Let's come down a little bit further. This is going to be a not too good video, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, it's hot. But let's clean it up here with the vinegar. I was watching Homestead Heart. She was canning, I'm not quite sure, strawberries. And she had the cutest glove her husband bought her. It was a little mitten and it opened up like that. I thought that was so cute. I thought that was adorable. So everything is cleaned off really good. Now I'm going to take my little magnet, get my lid, place my lid on, Did I poke that in there? No, I thought I poked it into the jam there. Put the lid on here. And get my band. Still hot, guys. Tighten it, but not all the way because it needs to be able to get some kind of air. Okay. That looks good. Right in. Okay. Looking good. It's good. Okay. So this is my end results. I have 4 pint jars and 11 half pint jars of dried tart cherries. Okay guys, I'm at the end of the day here. I did not realize it's 7 o'clock already. I'm just going to leave these sit here. They're still warm. And this is all that I had left over. And it is very thick. It's very thick. But it's very tasty. Actually, I think I'm going to take this and put it on the pork that I had last night. Remember I had the pork shoulder? I think I'm going to take and put a little bit of this over it. And it's going to make it taste really good. So let's talk about what I did here and what I would do differently next time. This is what I used to can these. I used 3 bags, 2-pound bag each, total of 6 pounds. I used apple juice, unsweetened apple juice. I didn't use an entire container, but I almost finished it. And I put some, about 4 tablespoons of lemon juice in there. Now, what I would do different the next time, because these are dried, I thought in the cooking process that it would rehydrate really quickly, but it didn't. And the pieces are, you know, they're cherries and they're dry. So what I would do the next time is I would chop these up some. I wouldn't leave them whole. So I would chop these up a little bit. And on top of that, I would rehydrate them in some hot water for about 30 minutes or an hour or something. Because midway while I was cooking these, I looked in the pot, I took the lid off, and it has swelled up so big. They had doubled in size. So they do rehydrate, but you have to know when they're going to rehydrate and how they're going to rehydrate. And I didn't want the really big pieces of cherry. So next time I'm going to chop it down and I'm going to put it in some hot water to rehydrate it. And then I will do the process of adding the sugar and the lemon juice and go from there. It tastes really good. Now this consistency is different here than what's in the jars because the jars cooked for an additional 20 minutes and I think it's probably smoother, but this is really tasty and I can see spreading this on some bread. It's going to be very delicious. It really is good. And what I like about it, like they say tart, it's tart, but yet it's sweet. So it has that tangy kind of taste to it. This is going to be really good on top of my pork butt that I've got in there. So I'm going to go eat it now. First I'll water my plants, then I'm going to eat. It's kind of late to be eating dinner, but I got caught up doing this. And then I'll see you guys in the next video. When I do open this, guys, I'm going to make sure and let you know. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take one in the house with me, and I think I'm going to open it in the morning and have it on some toast. And I'll share that with you guys if I do that, okay? So anyhow, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.